I'm going to do the floor presentation. So this is a quick review. This is a straight off of my score sheets, how I can quickly check the special requirements. College is only a 2/10 special requirement, and the reminders are that it's a 2 salto direct or a double 2 salto series is the first one. 3 different saltos is the second one. The third one is dance pass, which is the same as age group. 2 different group 1, direct or indirect, 1 180-degree split leap, and a C last salto. The blue reminds me that it's college only, that if they do a double salto as their last salto or an E acro element, they get an additional DE. Okay, that's for special requirements. Next is composition. Remember, composition for college is very specific. These are the only deductions that you can take. Half-tenth if they aren't using the fuller spatially well. Distribution is 0.5, the difficulty not maintained or in the same section. If they are lacking an A backward salto, there is no backward salto at all in the whole routine. It's a 1/10 compositional deduction. Same for a forward sideward salto. They need an A. This is not an aerial. It must be a salto. And then variety of dance. This is specific to college. They must have a dance bonus, either in connection value or a DE element. If they're lacking that, that's a 1/10 air. Then I have split the UTL into 2 different thought processes. One is for a routine that has a 3-pass routine, or if they have a 2-pass routine. This is the UTL specific to college. It's a 1/10 deduction. So a 3-pass, you must have at least 1 3 acro series with a C or better salto. For example, round off back handspring, double back would suffice for a 3 acro series. For a 3-pass routine, one of your passes must have an E element, either a dance E or an acro E, or have 2 different Ds, one of which needs to be an acro. And the last salto for a 3-pass routine must have a 1/10 connection value or be a D or an E. The difference for the 2-pass is that you still have to have the 3 acro series with a C or better, and 1 pass has to have a D. The other pass must now have a 2/10 connection value or a D or an E. So those are the things that are specific to composition. The things that are in blue are things that are different from age group. So you'll notice in the first indirect saltos, C plus C, C through to a C is now 2/10 for college. So round off 1.5 through to a round off 1.5 is a C through to a C, gets 2/10. If they're directly connected, you'll notice down the next box, it's a 3/10 bonus. For a direct 1.5 front full would be 3/10 for college. Then you'll notice at the bottom for the dance mixed series, this is specific to college. They may do turns and jumps. We don't see it very often, but it's okay in college. And then there's this new exception rule. You'll find this in the rules and modifications. It's new this year, and we're going to show you a video of a routine. So if you have a CA acro combination into a dance A, into a dance salto, this is a new exception rule, it gets 1/10. The new part is the CA, the combination. Then in the mix, you can do a salto D with a jump. Those are the connection values specific to college. All right, here's the summary of exceptions for floor. Again, you can do the turns and the jumps. And then that middle section is a review of the mixed series. And the thing I want you to notice is if a gymnast does this new exception, colleges have now said that this is okay for the dismount requirement, even though they finished with an A salto. They finished with a series that had a C in it. This is going to be okay for the dismount requirement, and it will fulfill the UTL because it's a 1/10 for the series connection and a 1/10 for the CA acro connection. So there's 2/10 in that whole process. Then if they do a front lay, BB, there is no connection value in college. And then again, it repeated the indirect CC 2/10, direct CC 3/10. Those are the summary of the things that are different for college. Then the exceptions for value parts, there's only two. The one that's a dance is the double stand rink jump full is moved from a C to a D. And the front pike salto has been devalued. Instead of being a B value in college, it's only an A. So those are just a few exceptions. Okay, we're now ready to show you my first video clip. You don't need to worry about judging it. I want you to watch it for this new mixed series exception rule. So I'd like you to watch it carefully and script the routine, and then I'll show you the script after this.
2-5 or better would allow UCLA to pass LSU and win this session heading into the Super 6 final tomorrow.
Huge double layout, and she's off.
Let's just sit back and enjoy it.
And that's her favorite part, the laugh, I have to say.
So here's the script. First thing I notice, it's a 2-pass routine, and it is using that new mixed rule. So here we go. Her first pass was a double A. It's an E. It fulfilled the UTL, and it also fulfilled the 3 acro requirement. Her second pass was a round off, 1.5 front half jump, straight jump into a salto. So it was a C plus a B for 2/10, a dance A, a salto A, and it then got the additional 1/10 NC2A new rule. This pass fulfilled 2 saltos, 3 different, forward, sideward, and the last salto is a C. It's the exception because it was within that new mixed series, and it had a C. Then she does a non-value element, and then she does a cartwheel into a front handspring onto the floor with it followed by a backward roll. Then she does her dance pass, which is a switch ring C plus a switch half C into a tuck jump full to her knee. So she got a CC bonus connection. It was her dance pass, and it was her dance bonus. She had 7 A's, 2 B's, 3 C's, 1 E, 4 in connection value, 2 in DE for 6/10. Therefore, she had a 10-0 start. Very little deduction was taken for this routine. You could have taken for distribution in that she started with an E and ended with not such a high value. Her score is going to be a very nice score in the 9.9s or 9.95s. So that's a really good example of this new rule. Okay, now
we doctored that routine. That's not really
yes,
a routine.
yes.
I didn't know she had another pass in there, but we needed
Right.
a 2-pass routine.
We edited that one for your pleasure. Okay, here we go. This is gymnast number 1. She opens with a front pass, front lay, front full, B plus C for a 2/10 connection. She does a nice jump turn with a leg position. Then she does a dance pass, which is a switch side, wolf full, CC plus 1/10. Fulfills her dance pass and her connection value. I forgot to mention the first pass fulfilled the forward sideward and the double salto. Her middle pass is a double back pike D, fulfills the UTL for her first D, and a UTL for the 3 acro pass and 3 different special requirement. Then she finishes with a front handspring Rudy D, which is her second D UTL, and her last salto requirement is fulfilled. Then she does a stag jump A. She had more in execution. Feet 05. She overturned the switch the switch side. Amplitude of her legs on the wolf full, 1/10, 1/10. Chest down on the double back pike. Body posture on her Rudy landing, 1.15. And amplitude of the last jump. So for me, I had 1/10 in artistry. I had a total of 0.55 in execution. I took 05 for rhythm overall. She was okay for her UTL. 6 A's, 1 B, 3 C's, 2 D's, no E. She had 3/10 in connection, 2/10 in difficulty value, which was good before, but now with a 9.4 requirement, she only has a 9.9 start value. So with 7/10 off, her average was a 9.2.
Priscilla, she does not get the extra 1/10 bonus because although she did a D in her last pass, it was not a double salto.
Yes. So right here, she did a D. It was in her last pass, but it was not a double back. It was a Rudy. So she does not get the 1/10. That's correct. Okay, here's the script for gymnast number 2. She starts with an Arabian double front, which is an E skill, so it fulfills the UTL and the forward sideward skill. Then she does her dance pass, which is a switch half into a wolf full CC plus 1 connection value. It fulfills the dance pass and her dance bonus. Her middle pass is a round off 1.5 through to a round off 1.5. This is the indirect version for the NCAA rule of getting 2/10. It also fulfills the UTL if she needed it, but she had an E on the first pass. The middle pass fulfills the 3 acro, the 2 salto requirement, and the 3 different. Then after a little time on the floor, she finishes her last pass with a round off double back pike, which is a D, and this is a good example of the bonus 1/10 connection for NC2A, 1/10 for the double salto and she fulfills her last salto. You might notice she never did a back handspring. She only had 9 elements. The deductions are on the top. These are mine. You might differ, but my deductions were lack of control on the first pass for 0.15, knees on the switch half, and feet apart on landing of the wolf full. And then no deduction, the X, the last part means I felt like she stuck the landing. So I had nothing in artistry. I had 0.25 in execution, nothing in composition. She fulfilled her UTL. She had 3 A's, no B's, 4 C's, 1 D, 1 E, 4 tenths in connection value, 3 in DE for a total of 7 tenths from the 9.4, remember? 9.4 is the starting for college now. So she had enough to fulfill a 10.0 start, and my score was a 9.75. So that's good. Okay, so this gymnast, number 3, begins with a round-up back handspring whip to a 1.5 front lay, which is an A plus a C plus a B. She gets 1/10 for the first connection and 2/10 for the second connection. It fulfills the UTL of having a 2/10 connection because this is a 2-pass routine. It fulfills the 3 acro series, 2 salto, 3 different, and forward sideward. She gets a whole lot in that one pass. She does a full turn A, then she does her dance pass, which when you watched it for the very first time, which is all I did, not in slow motion, she attempts a switch ring into a cat double full, which was given C plus D, 2/10 connection bonus for her dance pass with dance bonus. She then does a full turn and a turning leap, spends some time on the floor, and then her last pass is a round off double back pike D. Again, she gets the 1/10 connection for NC2A, last pass with a D salto, double salto. In a 2-pass routine, she meets the UTL requirement because it was a D, and it was her last salto requirement. I thought this had great choreography. It had minimum value parts, 7 A's, 1 B, 2 C's, 2 D's. And I thought the artistry was beautiful. I had 0.25 in execution. The legs were soft on her 1.5 on the first pass, and the landing control on the first pass, I had a 0.5. Her dance pass, she had more deduction. I took 0.5 in amplitude on the ring, incomplete of the cat double full, and leg position on the cat. So a total of 1.5. And so I had execution of 0.25. She was great in composition. She was okay with her UTL. She had a total of 6 tenths in connection, 2 in difficulty, DE, excuse me. So she had 8 tenths in bonus, which was plenty for a 10-0, and the average score was a 9.75.
Priscilla, we have some questions about, is it okay to take distribution? Because she had a large chunk in there, probably close to 30 seconds, where she did not do a value part.
Remember the definition of distribution. Did she have all of her difficulty in one section? No, she had 3 tenths in connection here, D and 2 in the middle, or the dance pass, and she ends with a D. I would not take for that deduction. This is gymnast number 4, and she opens with a double back pike D, fulfills the UTL of a first D and the 3 acro series. She does a hop hop half for an A. Her dance pass is a switch side polka. I wrote arrows. I write nice when I see something I really like. And I gave it a CC +1. It fulfilled the dance pass and her dance bonus. Her middle pass was a front handspring Rudy straddle jump front tuck. This is the mixed series for a 1/10 connection bonus. It also fulfilled her second D for the UTL, forward sideward skill, and 3 different saltos. And you notice I put a little mark that she was a little out of control backward on the front tuck. Then she does a beautiful turning leap, goes down onto the floor, and then finishes with a back 1.5 C into a front leg B, 2/10 bonus connection, fulfills the 2 salto pass and her last salto C. She had what I considered a very clean routine. I had nice on the double back, nice on the dance series, a slight hop backward after the front tuck in the middle pass, nice controlled landing on the final pass. So I have nothing in artistry, 0.5 in execution, no deduction in composition or the UTL. She had 7 A's, 2 B's, 3 C's, 2 D's, no E's. She had 4 in connection, 2 in DE for 6. Therefore, she had a minimum of a 10-0 start. I had 0.5 for a 9.95 score.
So when she meets the UTL for the last pass, which is a C in bonus or a D, I just think it's not on the sheet, but she does meet that because she has the CB for +2. So I think that's
right.
Fine.
She has a 3 pass routine. So she meets her UTL on the first 2 passes.
Well, there's the third pass requirement. The last pass has to be a C with bonus or a D.
Correct. For a 3 pass, yes.
Yeah. Really quick, Priscilla.
Yes.
Just a reminder, because we have a lot of questions in the chat, so I thought I'd mention it. Yes, you do take concentration pauses on floor, but they have to be 2 seconds or longer.
Yes. Thank you very much. I haven't yet taken a concentration pause on any of these routines. Okay, this is gymnast number 5. It's a much longer routine. It's an older routine, and she was put in here specifically for you to catch a couple things. So here we go. Her first pass is a full in back out, which is an E. It fulfills the UTL, and it was a UTL E, so she doesn't need another difficulty value. It also was a 3 acro series. Now, this is where she had some difficulty with our new rules. She did a beautiful jump, jump, B, B. It does not fulfill the dance pass. And you'll see later in her other dance pass, she did a jumping turn rather than a split leap. There was no leap here. So right away, I've written down 0.25 for a special requirement of no dance pass. Her middle acro series was round off, whip with a half, B, into front full C, which was a 2/10 connection bonus. She got 2 salto pass, 3 different, and a forward-sideward skill. Then she does what I consider a very sloppy hop wolf full in, and quarter turned out into a cat full with a quarter turn out. So I gave it a C value part, B value part, which has no connection value. Therefore, she had no dance connection value, which is a compositional deduction of 1/10. You may have seen it differently. Therefore, our scores might be different and our start values might be different. So then she does a beautiful double turn C. We don't see those very much anymore. Then she finishes with a whip A into a double full, which is a 1/10 connection value and fulfills her last salto. Then she finishes with a beautiful jump double turn C. She had 14 value parts, which was more than we see nowadays. She was pretty clean. Her first pass, I thought her balance of her full in back out, she had a large arm swing. I took a 1/10 deduction. The landing of her middle pass, I had a 1/2 The amplitude of her cat or wolf and cat combination, I took a 1/2. Total execution 2, composition for lacking the dance bonus 1/10. So I go over here, I have 4 A's, 4 B's, 5 C's, 1 E for 3/10 in connection, 2 in DE for only 5/10. Now when I'm calculating, I take 2/10 off for lacking the dance pass. It goes down to a 9.2. And then I go up 5/10 and I get a 9.7 start value. Take off 3/10 and I get an average of a 9.4. Now, if you gave the dance pass a CD combination, or a CC, excuse me, a CC, then we would differ in our start value, which is allowable. And as long as we were within range, then we would not have to conference. here is the script for gymnast number 10. You notice I did not take a concentration pause. I considered it, but I did not take it. So some of you may have, but I did not. She's first pass was a round off back handspring double lay E, and it fulfills her UTL and a UTL with an E. So she gets her 3 acro requirement series. Then she does a middle pass, a front handspring front lay, front full, BC plus 2/10. She fulfills her forward sideward, 2 salto, 3 different requirements. Then she does her dance pass, which was a switch ring into a tour jeté half, into a jump half, CC plus 1/10 connection. It fulfills her dance pass and fulfills her dance bonus connection. Then she ends with a very nice double back tuck D. Again, it gets the additional 1/10 for college, ending with a double salto, and it fulfills her last salto requirement. Then she does a jump turn leap A at the very end. Her deductions included legs apart on her double A, 1/2, height of the front full. Remember, both of them are supposed to continue to rise in a front pass. Then in her leap pass, the height of the back foot could be considered a 1/2 deduction. I did not, again, take a concentration pause prior to the last pass, but I did take feet apart, 1/2. So her deductions were minimal, 2/10. She was good in artistry, good in composition. She met her UTL. She had 6 A's, 1 B, 3 C's, 1 D, 1 E, for 4/10 in connection value, 3/10 in DE, for 7 total bonus tenths, for a 10-0 start, and a 9.8 average score. Okay,
So
now,
Priscilla,
yes.
on that one, we have a couple people
Okay.
thinking about, could they take a general footwork deduction for flats?
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Okay. Now we're going to play a little mental gymnastics. This has happened several times. I want you to consider this girl has stepped out on the floor. The timer has started or the routine has started. All she performs is a round off, flip flop, and on the punch to do whatever she was going to do, she injures herself, pulls an Achilles. She falls to the ground. She does not continue. You have 1 minute to come up with a start value and a score. Go. This is a reality. This happened to me twice in one season on floor and bars. So I developed a worksheet that I put on the Google Classroom for NCAA that you can find on the NAJ website. But this was considered an incomplete routine. And you need to have some process, some way for you to come up independently with a start value and a score. So right off the bat, you have to ask the timer to stop her watch or his watch and record the time. This particular routine was short and it was 15 seconds long. Remember, 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds is a short routine. So all she did was 2 A's, round up back handspring. She jumped in the air. She was hurt. She fell, and you take 5/10 off. She rebounded. There was no salto, and she fell on the landing. So what am I going to do? Easy for execution, 1/2 or 5/10 for a fall. Composition, remember the sheet that we looked at before. The maximum that you can take for all of the composition is 5/10. So I took off for no forward sideward, no backward salto, no dance bonus. She didn't use the floor area and she had no distribution for 4/10. And then her UTL was lacking. And I would put my little UTL sign up and I would take a maximum of 5/10 for composition. Her special requirements were all missing. 2/10 for no 2 salto, 2/10 for no 3 different, 2/10 for no dance pass, 2/10 for the last salto lacking. And you need to remember she had no dismount for a 3/10, which comes off the start value. So the maximum for the special requirements, including the no dismount, is 1.1. So now value parts over here, she had 2 A's, so I know she's lacking 1. So she's lacking 1/10 in A's. She had no B's. There were 3 that she's required to have for 3/10. She's missing 9/10. She's missing the 2 C's at 5/10 each, so that was a full point. So her value parts were minus 2 points. Her special requirements was minus 1.1, which brings you down to a 6.3 start value. Then I go back over to what I can take off. I took off 3/10 for artistry, 5/10 for execution, 4 for composition, and 1 for UTL, maximum of 5. So I got a 1.3 off the 6.3 for a 5. But then as a chief judge, I need to take off 2/10 for the short, 2 points for the short routine. So her score for performing 2 A's in a college meet was a 3.0. How'd you do? I think this is one of the most difficult things to do in college all by yourself, but you need to have a process to double check everything. So again, those are on the website under college Google Classrooms.